Most rich people didn't get there by being smarter than you. They don't have some secret investment strategy, and they're not some genius with numbers. They just do 6 things differently that seem almost too simple to matter. I spent 9 years in banking watching how rich people actually behave with money, and today I'm pulling back the curtain on the 6 things that I saw over and over again. If you're new here, hi, I'm Nisha. I'm a qualified accountant and former banker. And on this channel, we talk about all things personal finance and self-development. Let's dive straight in. Number 1, the drain. Imagine running yourself a bath at the end of a very long day. You turn on the taps, you head to the kitchen, you make yourself a drink, get some snacks, you pick up your book, and you come back only to find that bath completely empty. You forgot to put the plug in. That's what happens when you pour money into savings and investments whilst carrying high interest debt. You're filling the bath and draining it at the same time. But here's where most people get it wrong. Most people think the goal is to avoid debt entirely. Rich people don't. According to Federal Reserve data, the top 10% of households by net worth actually hold more debt than the median household, but it's completely different debt. So credit cards, personal loans, buy now, pay later, that's the anchor. Instead, they use low-cost leverage like a 4% mortgage to free up capital for investments that might earn twice that. That's a lever. The difference isn't that rich people don't have debt, it's that they know which debt is the anchor and which is a lever. So here's what to do. Write down every debt that you have and the interest rate attached to it. Anything above 8% that gets paid off before you start taking investing seriously. Automate those payments. Attack the most expensive debt first, the one with the highest interest rate, and then the moment those high rate debts have gone, then redirect every penny towards wealth building, which is what we're going to come on to later in this video. But this only works if you actually know the numbers, which most people don't, which leads me to the second thing that they have, and that is a financial x-ray. If I asked you right now how much you spent last month, could you answer to the nearest 10 or the nearest 50 or even the nearest 100? Research shows that the average person underestimates their monthly spending by 20 to 25%. It's like driving with a foggy windscreen. You're moving forward, but you can't actually see where you're going. Rich people, they don't drive blind. They can tell you what they're saving, what they're investing, what they're spending, because they treat their money like how a business treats its accounts. You can't manage what you don't measure. And early in my career, I had no idea where my money went or where it was going. I'll check my balance. I'd feel vaguely anxious, and then I'll just hope things would work out. When I finally tracked everything properly, I found that I was leaking so much money in subscriptions and small purchases that I barely even remembered making. So here's the system. When your spending comes in, split it into 3 buckets. You've got the fundamentals, which is the non-negotiables: rent, bill, food, groceries, basic living expenses. Then fun, which is the things that actually make life enjoyable, those guilt-free pleasures. And then the future, which is the money going towards savings, investments, essentially the future you. I have a super easy tracker that you can use that works with this exact methodology and then splits that up spending into percentages. It's completely free, nisha.me-ist, or you can click the link in the description. A lot of people who download it end up also joining my inner circle, where you can then upload that tracker and get a full breakdown and detailed analysis on exactly where and how to optimize your finances and what to change, so that you absolutely hit your short-term and long-term goals. You can find all of the details for this in the description below. Then moving on to number 3, and that is the buffer rule. Picture this: the market drops 30%, your portfolio is down thousands. What do? Most people panic, they sell, locking in that loss and getting out at exactly the wrong moment. Rich people, they do nothing, not because they're braver, but because they have a spare tire. Think about it. If you get a flat tire on a motorway and you've got a spare one, it is an inconvenience. It's an inconvenience, but you can change the tire and you can keep driving. But if you don't have a spare one, a minor problem becomes a lot more major. You're stranded. That's what a cash buffer does for your investments. Rich people keep 3 to 6 months of the living expenses in a separate account untouched. So when life goes sideways, they're not forced to sell stocks at the worst possible time. And this sounds straightforward, but the data shows how rare this actually is. In the UK, 1 in 10 people have no savings at all. In the US, according to Bankrate, 59% couldn't cover an unexpected $1,000 expense. So here's what to do. If you have nothing saved up yet, then aim for 1 month of your living expenses as a starting point. Once you've done that, pay off any high interest rate debt that you have above 8%, and then move on to saving 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. Do it in that order, and for each one, make sure you're automating the contribution towards it. Don't touch it. And then the question is, where do you keep the savings that you have? Right now, I'm keeping mine in Revolut, which is also the sponsor of today's video. I use Revolut both personally and for my business, and the reason is straightforward. Whilst this buffer is sitting there doing its job, it should still be earning something. On the standard pound with Revolut, you're earning up to 3% interest paid daily. So you literally see the money coming in every day. It is the truest form of making money without doing anything. I'm on Revolut Metal, so I'm earning up to 3.51%. And it's not the point of the buffer. The point is, of course, access and security, but there's absolutely no reason that money should be earning nothing while it sits there. You'll be missing out if you weren't doing this. For the business side, same principle. Revolut Business Savings earns up to 3.3% paid daily, including weekends. And what's best about it is there are no minimum amounts that you need to add, and there's no withdrawal fees, which allows you full flexibility. Your business finances are working for you in the background, and any savings earned can be reinvested into your business. Right now is a great time to get started with Revolut, as there's a limited time offer available. You can get $20 when you sign up for a personal account and spend once, or $200 when you open a Revolut business account and add money to that account. To redeem the offer, you can sign up using the QR codes on the screen or the link in the description, and you'll have to fulfill the requirements by June the 30th, 2026. Fees, promotional terms, and T's and C's apply. Number 4, get rich slow on purpose. Most people think wealth comes from being smart with money, picking the right stocks, timing the market, knowing something that the rest of us don't. The truth is almost disappointingly boring. It comes from being consistent, and consistency equals compounding. So think of compounding like pushing a snowball down a hill. At the top, you yourself, you're doing all the work. You're pushing and it barely moves. But once it gets rolling, it picks up snow on its own. And eventually it keeps picking up more and more snow and becomes massive. And you are just watching. Warren Buffett started investing at 11 years old. He's widely considered the greatest investor who's ever lived. And yet roughly 97% of his net worth was built after his 65th birthday. It's not because he got better at investing after his 65th birthday, but because the snowball finally had enough time to become unstoppable. But most people can't leave it alone. And according to research, the average investor significantly underperforms the market by around 3 to 4% per year on average. And one of the main reasons for this is that they keep tinkering, they keep checking, they keep reacting, and they keep buying high and selling low because it feels like they should be doing something. But rich people, they don't do that. They set it up, they automate it, and then they forget it exists. The real skill isn't knowing what to do, it's actually leaving it alone. So here's the rule. Set up a monthly transfer to your investment account the same way you'd automate a bill. Put it in low-cost index funds and then don't touch it. You're not trying to beat the market. You're trying to stay in the market long enough for compounding to work. But even if you do all of that right, there's one system most people are still losing in. And that brings me to the next point, and that is the tax game. Here's a number that should probably make you a bit uncomfortable. According to a ProPublica analysis of IRS data, some of the richest Americans pay an effective tax rate of around 3 to 8%, whilst the average middle-class worker pays closer to 25%. That's not because they're breaking the law, it's just because they know the rules. It's like playing a board game where half the payers never read the instructions. They're following the basics, sure, but the other half know about the shortcuts, they know about the bonus squares that are right there in the rule book. The tax game, it's the same game, but with different outcomes. Most people earn money, they pay tax, and they try to invest what's left. Rich people structure things differently. They use pensions or retirement accounts, tax-free accounts, employer matches to keep more of what they make legally. So if your employer offers a pension match and you're not maxing it out, that is free money that you're leaving on the table, a 100% return before your money has ever been invested. When I first started investing, nobody told me about any of this. I just opened up the first account that I found, and it wasn't until years later that I realized how much of a difference the right account actually makes. Then there are tax advantage accounts in the UK. That's a stocks and shares ISA. Everything inside it grows tax-free. In the US, you have a Roth IRA, in Canada, a TFSA. Most countries offer legal ways to protect your investments from tax. Rich people use all of them, most people none, simply because they don't know better. So here's what to do. First, check if your employer offers a match and make sure you're getting that full match. Then open a tax-efficient investment account. Keep it simple. 1 or 2 broad market index funds. The most important thing is getting the right accounts in place from the start, but here's one thing that matters more than any of this, and that is the money mirror. It's the one that nobody really talks about. Rich people aren't chasing more forever, at least not the ones who are actually happy. They know what they want money to do for them, and they stop when they get there. Most people never define that, so they never feel rich no matter how much they have. There's always a bigger house they could buy, a nicer car, a better holiday, because that goalpost keeps moving. According to research published in the Harvard Business Review, people consistently believe they need about 2 to 3 times their current income to be happy. But when they get there, that number shifts again. Consistently 2 to 3 times their income. It's a treadmill with no finish line. If you don't decide what money is for, you will never feel like you have enough. I mean, not directly relatable, but still relevant. I remember all the times a new iPhone came out, and when I was always one of the first to get it, and I'd buy it, and then almost within like 1 week, nothing. That excitement was gone, but I'd already spent the money. And I did that time and time again, and that is what happens when you use money to fill a gap rather than to serve a purpose. The things you buy don't give you what you are looking for, so you just go looking for the next thing. And that's why some people earn millions and still feel broke and others don't. So before you go any further, ask yourself a few questions. What do I actually want my money to give me? Not what looks good, not what signals success to other people, but what do I genuinely want? Is it freedom? Is it security? Is it time with people I love? The answer should essentially drive every financial decision that you make. If you're still watching at this point and you're keen to just get started and take that first step and you haven't actually looked at your finances up until now, then you can download my tracker completely for free, nisha.me/ist. And I recommend just spending the next hour filling that in. It will already put you ahead of what most people do. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next.